Labadiena susirinkusiems į spaudos konferenciją, kurioje dalyvauja Žemės ūkio ministras Vigilijus Jurna, taip pat komisaras Dacian Cioloș bei Europos parlamento Žemės ūkio ir kaimo komiteto pirmininkas Paolo De Castro. Dėl užsitęsusių diskusijų, dėl to, kad du mūsų svečiai turi spėti į lėktuvą, šiek tiek pakeisime spaudos konferencijų įprastą tvarką ir pirmiausia žodžiu suteiksime
The Council took longer than expected, and so we'll change the usual order and give the floor to the Commissioner first of all, followed by Paolo De Castro. Commissioner. Well, thank you very much. Well, first of all, I'm very grateful to Virgilius and the Lithuanian presidency for having organized this informal council meeting. First and foremost, it was important because it's been focusing on what is a crucial issue for the future of European farming, that is family farming. In terms of farming models, it's clearly the dominant model in the European Union. And it's a very topical issue too, because within the framework of the reform of the agricultural policy, we've already obtained a political agreement this summer. But in the context of that reform, we have taken account of the very varied situation in different member states. So this overall family farming model, in all its diversity, can be taken into account by member states in ensuring its continued existence, because family farming can provide sectors for solutions for the European food sector, not just in producing food, supplying the market, but also in terms of the social aspects, which are increasingly important. Creating jobs, maintaining jobs in rural areas. In many member states facing economic difficulties, you see one of the few sectors actually creating jobs is in the farming sector. In Ireland, Greece, and Portugal, we've witnessed this development. Young people are moving into farming in spite of, or perhaps due to, a crisis in other areas of industry. So farming can assure our future even in tough times. And I think it's very important to allow family farming businesses to prosper. But alongside the economic aspect, there's this crucial social side to it. And then when we're talking about sound management of natural resources too, the family farm model is more easily takes account of these concerns. But we need to safeguard this European tradition. We need to sustain it. We've seen that it's been maintained throughout the various enlargements of the European Union, that this is the dominant model, but the common agricultural policy is a necessary but not a complete response to the needs of the sector. So I think the common agricultural policy has done what it could. If you look at the details of the reform in the direct payments model we're proposing, but also in the market management measures, focusing on producer organizations, provides an opportunity for family farms to obtain market outlets, but also in rural development policies, we're allowing member states and regions to take account of not just the survival of family farms, but also allowing them to develop and grow. Now, given the tasks entrusted by the treaty to the European Union, a lot will be left for national and regional measures. I'm thinking of tax policies, policies governing the transfer of capital and arrangements for succession from the current farmer to a young successor. Then we have land rules. These are all determined by the member states, and financing policies and loans to farmers. And these are just as important as the instruments we have in the common agricultural policy to safeguard the future of family farms. Today, the Lithuanian presidency has put this topic on the agenda and given us an opportunity to look at all the aspects of these questions. We've also looked at what needs to be done at national level. The European Commission is going to look at how we can provide assistance to make information available in the most transparent manner when member states are taking decisions at national level. And I'm sure we'll have an even clearer picture after a conference which the Commission is organising in November on precisely this issue, the future of family farms in the European Union. This conference is going to be organised within the framework of the International Year of Family Farms. That's next year. It's within the framework of a UN initiative. So we're not only contributing to the discussion on family farms at international level, we're going to take that opportunity to clarify certain aspects as that relates to Europe. Now, I had an opportunity to discuss with the Lithuanian presidency and with some farm ministers and with Paolo De Castro about the objective we have to sort out the last remaining items in the reform of the CAP. It's important to be clear about this. Nobody's calling into question the political agreement that the three institutions struck in June on the reform of the CAP. At the same time, I think everybody's aware that certain points were placed between square brackets related to budgetary matters because we need an agreement on the budgetary perspectives, the financial framework too. Now we've got an agreement on the financial framework, and we need to sort out the outstanding 4 or 5 items by September so that we can launch the legislative package so that we can actually make the payments for next year. Now, if we don't sort this out by September, we'll actually undermine the legal capacity to make the direct payments to farmers next year, because the transitional scheme depends on a final agreement on all the points of the CAP reform, so that the Council and the Parliament can reach a decision on the final legal package, as it were, and then in turn adopt the transitional measures. Following on from the discussion I had yesterday, the day before yesterday, and today, having discussed this issue, I now feel confident that after 2 or perhaps 3 trilogues, given the discussions that the Lithuanian presidency is also organising at a working lunch during the next council meeting, and given the very open position of the European Parliament that I'm very grateful for, I'm sure we'll be able to sort out all these remaining issues. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. First of all, I would like to welcome, as chair of the Agriculture Committee in European Parliament, the items that the Lithuanian presidency, my friend Virgilius, chose for this informal council. Family farming is very important for the European Parliament. We already have a study on this, and we are preparing an initiative report that will be presented and voted in the next months in the Comagri and then, of course, in the plenary. It's very important, and this subject is very well participated by the all members in the Agriculture Committee. But in the few minutes I have, because I'm sorry, but I have to leave as quickly as I can because we have a flight to Strasbourg. I would like to make a statement. I thank Dacian that introduced the question of the related issue we need to negotiate to complete the total negotiation on CAP reform. And first of all, I would like to underline that for the European Parliament, we don't want to touch nothing of the agreement of the 26th of June. We are proud of the agreement, and we don't want to modify one word of such agreement. But, as you know, there are parts of this agreement under the bracket that we need to negotiate, because we need to conclude the negotiation. Otherwise, it's an important and risk and we don't want to avoid the risk in the future, that the Council can decide what is the items that will be negotiated or not. So we need to negotiate everything. But the Parliament will show the maximum flexibility in this negotiating, in this 2 or 3 trilogue, as Dacian said, and to try to conclude everything before the vote in Agriculture Committee, which is already fixed the September the 30. We need to vote September the 30 because we need to vote in the plenary, and we don't want to lose time. We want to give the farmers as quickly as we can all the reform negotiated, all reform approved. So I very much appreciate what Dacian said, what the Lithuanian president said, and many ministers in the debate. So I am confident, as Dacian said, that we are ready in these couple of weeks with the Lithuanian presidency to conclude this last final point on CAP. So thank you very much. Thank you again, Virgilius. Thank you, Dacian. And I'm sorry if I have to go quickly, otherwise I lose my play. Thank you again.
Ačiū kalbėjusiems, dabar žodis ministrui.
Well, I'd like to thank the speakers, and I'd now like to give the floor to the minister. Well, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome representatives of the media. I'm very happy about this informal ministerial meeting for ministers of agriculture, which was held for the first time in Lithuania at Vilnius. For most of my colleagues, this is the first time they've been to my country. And I hope that they will find their visit interesting and useful, and that their visit to one of our soundest family farms would have been worth it, both professionally and personally. Agricultural traditions are embedded in Lithuania. Family farms have always played a significant role in our country and in our agricultural sector, and we're going to encourage the development of this kind of farm. Now, as President of the Council, I am very grateful to my colleagues, the ministers, the representatives of the European Commission and the European Parliament, and I'm also very grateful to the members of the non-governmental organizations who came along. I'd like to thank them for the very interesting discussion on family farms, which is a very topical issue for all of us, both for Lithuania and other member states. In the course of our discussions, we concluded that family farms are a significant agricultural model in the EU. Obviously, the model varies from one country to another, depending on the way in which agriculture is organized and depending on local traditions and the average size of farms. I'm also happy that we're giving priority to family farms. This was agreed in our discussions. These farms produce fresh, high-quality foodstuffs for consumers, and also family farms have a direct link with consumers. And this is also a guarantee that the food is safe. So this direct contact with consumers means that producers are very in tune with the needs of consumers. We have to make way for all kinds of agriculture, but today we focused on family farms. Next year, as has been said, is the International Year of family farms. This International Year has been declared by the United Nations.
Taip pat į rudenį lapkričio mėnesį dar įvyks konferencija, kurioje taip pat bus suformuoti tam tikri siūlymai, tam tikri matymai.
But already in 2013, we're going to have a conference on family farming, which should already provide ideas and thoughts to improve the situation of family farms.
Daugelis pasisakė, kad kooperacija yra labai svarbus.
Many ministers stressed that it's very important to encourage family farms to organize themselves into cooperatives, because this is the most appropriate way of optimizing their human and technical resources in order to achieve the best results. We have to provide them with capital to be innovative as well. We have to encourage the use of new technologies. This is extremely important to improve the competitiveness of family farms. I think that our exchange of views today is going to form the basis for some new legislative acts. And I'm sure that our discussions will encourage the development of family farms both in Lithuania and other member states. Questions, please.
LRT televizija žinios. Mes kiek žinom per praeitą finansinį laikotarpį didžiausia parama.
As far as we're informed, in the final financial period, most of the financial aid has gone to the big farms. What's going to change? What are you planning to do to give greater support for the family holdings? Yes, indeed. As I was saying, in order to help the smaller and medium-sized farms, it is important to encourage cooperation so that people can profit more from investment measures. For individual smaller farms, it's very difficult to obtain the aid, but also to absorb the aid. We've discussed this with the other farm ministers, and there's agreement that we should encourage cooperation. We need to increase the intensity of financial aid, and we need to make sure the conditions are in place so that small holdings can work on the same footing as the large.
Raymond Lloyd, the editor of the Parity Democrat in Westminster. On family farming, both now and next year, in what ways is Lithuania and the Commission working with the Associated Country Women of the World, who hold their triennial Congress next month, October, in Chennai, India?
Tiesiog apie šią konferenciją aš neturiu platesnių žinių.
Well, as regards the conference which you mentioned, I'm afraid I don't have much information about it. We're not really doing anything on it.
Ed Brady from AgriFacts. A question on the outstanding CAP issues. What's the feedback that you've got from other member states on the content of what the European Parliament is demanding on changes? Are they willing to make changes to the budget-related issues? And then a second question, if you could just tell us what the program is for these talks. Have you already scheduled dates for the next talk? And how many trialogues do you expect before the end of September to get this agreed? Thank you.
Taip, tai atsakant į jūsų klausimus, norėčiau paminėti tai, kad
Well, yes. Just to answer your question, I would like to mention the fact that we already have the June agreement, and today we clearly stated that we should stick to that agreement, and all three institutions are aware of that. So we repeatedly stated in the course of discussions today that we should stick to the political agreement which has been reached. Obviously, there are still some outstanding issues which remain to be resolved. As to the timetable, we hope that within 1 or 2 months at most, we'll be able to come up with a compromise.
Chris McCulloch from Farm Week newspaper in Northern Ireland. It's interesting you talk about succession farming in Lithuania. Over the years, it seems there's a high majority or percentage of young people that's left Lithuania for other countries. How do you encourage them back, and specifically, how do you encourage them back into a career in farming?
Taip, iš tiesų, manau, problema čia ne tik Lietuvoje, kaip jūs minite, bet turbūt ir daugelį kitų.
Well, yes, this is a topical issue, not just for Lithuania, but for other member states of the EU. Rural areas are not very attractive to our young people, and they go away to study abroad, and they see there that living conditions are better, and obviously they don't want to come back, and they don't want to come back to the farm. So we have to create the necessary conditions for young farmers to set themselves up more easily in farming, and there are several measures available to support young people. We also have to have national programs to attract young people to rural areas. We have to facilitate things for young people so that agriculture is a subject which they are more likely to study at university. So we have to implement education and training programs and awareness-raising programs to highlight the advantages and assets of rural areas and agriculture, and I think this can revive the fortunes of agriculture. But obviously, one measure in isolation will not lead anywhere. We need to apply a package of measures, and in the new package, we do have a set of measures available to us.
Could you perhaps explain your reply to the penultimate question on the timetable and the work that remains to be settled in connection with the CAP reform? Well, you're aware of the fact that political agreement was reached in June. The multi-annual financial framework hadn't yet been adopted. Now we do have the multi-annual financial framework in place, and so the issues related to CAP reform and the CFP can now be tackled so that farmers will receive their aid next year.